So the Dallas Mavericks are now selecting Cooper Flagg with the first overall pick, and a move that has turned the Luka Doncic trade, which was, when it happened, I thought potentially one of the worst trades ever when you consider what Luka meant to the franchise, the fact that they probably could have got more, they didn't talk to other teams, all that good stuff. It turned it from that to, since they got the first overall pick, I think a win for the Mavericks organization, and I think a deal where they got the better end of it. You could say it's because Adam Silver rigged it, and that was kind of my original thought from the first place when the trade first happened. But whatever the case is, getting Cooper Flagg makes it a win for the Mavericks, and I think they are one of the better set up organizations in terms of their outlook going forward. Out of any team in the league, they've got to be near the top, if not in the top three, because you can look at the Mavericks and they, to me, are a contender next season. Are they my favorites? Absolutely not. Is it possible that they could even miss the playoffs with how loaded the West is and the fact that they don't have a point guard? That is possible. But I could also see a real possibility if Kyrie's able to get back and they're able to pick up a point guard to get them through the regular season. This team has a real shot, depending on the moves they make at free agency and trades moving forward, because Cooper Flagg is probably him or Zion Williamson, the most NBA-ready prospect I've seen in my lifetime since I've been following basketball and college basketball. And I think that Cooper Flagg is about as good of a prospect as I've ever seen coming out of college. Like I said, it's between him and Zion, but Cooper Flagg doesn't have the issues that Zion had coming out of college in terms of injury risk. And a lot of people seem to think Cooper Flagg's overrated, but I don't see that. I have seen that with guys that were super highly touted in the past, because when I see people trying to pump the brakes on Cooper Flagg, I hear people say, remember everybody was saying Ben Simmons was going to be the next LeBron? And I'm like, I wasn't. I was saying Brandon Ingram should have been the number one overall pick. I didn't understand all the hype for Ben Simmons when his team couldn't even get to the tournament. And it wasn't like he went to go play for like Weber State or something. He played for LSU and couldn't get to the tournament. And then other guys that were hyped up to be like, the next LeBron, Andrew Wiggins. And I was like, I watched him in college. He was mid. Y'all are still talking about next LeBron based off a high school mixtape. But the thing is, Cooper Flagg isn't that. He's a guy that went to the number one school that you could go to for college basketball, Duke stinking University, took him to the Final Four, and was just phenomenal in every aspect of stinking basketball. Scoring 19 a game in college, if you're not a big college guy, 19 is elite scoring in college. It's not like 19 in the NBA. 19 as a freshman in college that was 17 years old for most of the season. Yeah, that is elite scoring. 7.5 rebounds. Again, it's a 40-minute game. It's not a 48-minute game. 7.5 rebounds is like if he had 10 rebounds in the NBA. That is elite rebounding for a forward. 4 assists. Again, you have to like move all that stuff up. That's like, if you adjust this for NBA numbers, it's like he averaged 23, 10, and 6 in college with 48% from the field, 39% from three, 84 from the line, and he was better defensively than he was offensively. So Cooper Flagg, to me, is the best prospect of my lifetime. It was between him and Zion, but Zion always had the injury risk. Cooper Flagg just has absolutely no flaws to his game, whereas Zion did have like a shooting flaw and the injury risk flaw. Cooper Flagg is, to me, the best prospect I've ever seen. Now, with that being said, there is the risk of maybe just a little bit of Chet Holmgren-y in him, in that like he doesn't have the best bag or like most flawless, fluid scoring of like a Carmelo Anthony back in the day. Like some of the guys that you see even today, even like Brandon Ingram coming out of college, had a little bit more of a smoother dribble pull-up, I would say, out of Duke. I would say that maybe his like arsenal of moves and smooth, fluid motion to create his own shot is not really there to the extent that you would want from a superstar. So I could see like in a big game, him being guarded by another team's best defender and him dropping like 14 and people being like, this is the guy you said this, that, and the other. But the thing is, I feel like that would be like a bad game for him dropping 14. And even in those scenarios, he's still going to give you 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and play great defense. And in today's NBA, I think it's becoming more and more of a team game rather than teams trying to play through one dominant player. And so I think Cooper Flagg is as good of a team player as you could have that does everything you could want him to do. The one weakness is his like ability to lead an offense as the go-to scorer when everything's slowed down. But like I said, if the Mavericks could get Kyrie back and be close to what he was and Anthony Davis there with him, there's not going to be that pressure on him. And he could just come in rookie season, give you 13, 7, and 5, and that could elevate them to a potential contender. So for the Mavericks, they're going to need to try and make a move to get a point guard. I mean, I don't want to rely on Jaden Hardy having some breakout season. For me, I'd be on the phone seeing who might be interested in a Derek Lively. I feel like those type of players, they usually peak when they're young. Might be interesting to move off him now since you have Anthony Davis and Daniel Gafford locked up. You've got to be open to moving Jaden Hardy if there's some worth there. But definitely be looking to make a move to get a guard, maybe move off Klay Thompson. But regardless, if you get that point guard situation just right for the year, with all the depth you have at every other position, with Klay, with Najee, with Max Christie now, with Caleb Martin now Cooper Flagg in there, with Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, you have more pieces than you even need. Package one or two of those guys to get a guard, and I think with Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, and just a high-level creator on the perimeter. Doesn't even have to be high level, but just a capable perimeter scorer. I think that this should be a top team in the West with how loaded that West is. And if Kyrie comes back even just close to what he was, I think it's a team that has a chance to get over the top because it could be one of the best defenses. As what's his name? The GM wanted them to be. Defense wins championships. Well, if he knew that he was going to get Cooper Flagg, it was a good move because that defense should be absolutely elite with, like I said, Najee Marshall on the perimeter, Caleb Martin as an option, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford. Oh, it's going to be hell trying to score on them. So this is a great move for the Mavericks and makes the Luka trade worth it to me. But let me know what you all think. Drop a comment, hit that like, and please subscribe.